first India tour in your city. Rock on with Shankar Ehsan Loy and Siddharth Mahadevan and Shivam Mahadevan. 5 times melody, 5 times masti with NDTV Good Times. Go, grab your tickets.
The front lines of Kargil. The fury of Operation Sindhu.
So many attacks.
The chaos and cries of disaster zones. The fighter jet cockpits. And the world's most defining interviews.
It's incredible.
He has seen history break. Live, unfiltered. 20,000 hours of live broadcasting.
Welcome to Left, Right and Centre.
Hard facts.
War-struck country.
Hard questions.
In the Ukraine.
30 years of trust.
In the Kargil area.
North Ukraine. In France, in Italy. At Srinagar. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
Vishnu Shom. Only on NDTV.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
इनको यहाँ से जाना ही होगा।
Welcome back. As tensions in the Middle East escalate, US President Donald Trump in the latest has commented on the ongoing Operation Epic Fury against Iran. He hailed the operation, rating it 15 out of 10 and calling the war exciting. Trump further went on to appreciate the US's performance, saying that the US was going very well in the war. Meanwhile, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has also spoken out on the war and said Canada cannot rule out military participation in the escalating conflict, reiterating the lack of consultation, however, by the US and Israel with regards to the strikes. He said Canada will still stand by allies.
This is very important, and we're doing very well on the war front, to put it mildly, I would say. Somebody said, on a scale of 10, where would you rate it? I said about a 15. And we're going to continue to do well. We have the greatest military in the world by far. And that was a tremendous threat to us for many years. 47 years they've been killing our people and killing people from all over the world. And I think we have great support. And I think if we didn't do it first, they would have done it to Israel and give us a shot if that was possible.
You've asked a fundamental hypothetical in a conflict that can spread very broadly. Today's events, recent events, point to that. So one can never categorically rule out participation. We will stand by our allies when it makes sense. There's a distinction between the offensive actions that were taken and are being taken by the United States and Israel, that were taken by them without consultation with Canada, with other allies, and we're not party to those actions.
West Asia at war. Netanyahu thanks Prime Minister on NDTV.
I spoke to our great friend, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, spoke to him at length yesterday, thanked him for his standing with Israel, standing for the truth.
Israel opposition leader Yair Lapid speaks to NDTV.
Is there going to be an Iranian Gandhi who will free his own people from oppression? So it's up to them.
Israel Foreign Minister Gideon Saar on NDTV.
Israel and US going to leave Iran in a complete chaos? Do you think that there will be a civilian leader who could take over?
Not Israel and not the US will decide who will lead the Iranian people.
The voices that matter speak first and exclusive to NDTV.
From 1983 to now, I have seen cricket evolve, but the mindset to win never changed. I tell you that what win matches and what doesn't. This T20 World Cup, let's talk cricket, controversies and more on NDTV.
Straight from the heart of the newsroom to the core of the stories shaping your world. Join me, Gargi Rawat, as I track all the developments as they break. Live from the NDTV newsroom, weekdays at 4 p.m.
The stage that brings together India's most compelling creative voices,
NDTV का क्रिएटर मंच है
where stories are shared, ideas are exchanged, and culture takes center stage.
जब देश पे हमला होगा तो सब एक।
आजकल चल क्या रहा है सिचुएशनशिप, आपको पता क्या होता है?
कभी मैं कह नहीं पाया।
It's okay, yeah.
NDTV Creators Munch, where creative India comes together.
हो सकता है ये कहानी बन जाए और क्रिएटर्स मंच के नाम से किसी दिन मैं रिलीज कर दूं।
2 powerful days, 14th-15th March, Sundar Nursery, New Delhi. After the roaring success in Delhi, Hyderabad and Mumbai, the NDTV DP World PGTI Golf Pro-Am now travels to Ahmedabad. India's finest professionals, the city's most accomplished business leaders. Great golf, great company. NDTV DP World PGTI Golf Pro-Am. The course of champions, the conversation of leaders. 8th March, Kalhar Blues and Greens, Ahmedabad.
Across the country.
He has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones. Brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs. Aditya Raj Kaul, covering international affairs like no one else. Only
Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV Newsroom. I'm Gargi Rawat and we're bringing you all the very latest as the conflict in West Asia enters the 6th day. It's expanding, it's getting more intense. We'll get you all those details. First, a look at the headlines we're tracking. Iran condemns US attack on Iranian warship in the Indian Ocean, warns Trump says the US will regret this move, calls the warship a guest of India. There has been no comment so far from the Indian government and Navy. However, the Congress has hit out. It's now confirmed that 2 Indian captains were killed in the Iranian strike at the Oman port on the 1st of March. Iran struck oil tanker in the Gulf. The family inconsolable, no body recovered so far. Israel intensifies its offensive against the Hezbollah in Lebanon, fires missiles on Beirut, says they will wipe off the Hezbollah from Lebanon. Meanwhile, Iran has stepped up its attacks on Israel. Fresh wave of missiles have been fired, sirens heard across Tel Aviv. Trump hails the US-Israel joint operation, calling the war an exciting time. India calls for rule of dialogue, says dialogue and diplomacy. Prime Minister Modi bats for peace, says military conflicts cannot resolve issues. And Nitish Kumar is set to enter the Rajya Sabha. He'll step down as the Bihar Chief Minister after a record 10 terms, and the buzz grows over his son's political debut. And will Nishant be the Bihar Deputy Chief Minister? Israel and Iran have launched new strikes as the war in the Middle East has entered the 6th day, with Israel carrying out attacks on Lebanon and Iran. Explosions seen across Tehran. Iranian attacks were reported in Israel, with air raid sirens in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Explosions seen in the skies. But let's take a look at some of the defining images that have emerged. The situation is escalating inside Iran, while regional tensions are intensifying. On the 6th day of the US-Israeli attacks, the conflict escalating, and take a look at these visuals now emerging from Tehran. Israel launched fresh attack on Iranian capital. Homes are now under fire and panic on the streets as a strike hits a residential complex in Tehran. And as Israel continues to target Iran, Iran's intelligence ministry was hit in a strike near Shahid Hemmat Highway in Tehran. Israeli Defense Forces released another video of a strike in which they claim that they have destroyed a building in which Hezbollah terrorists are seen entering, a building which is the headquarters, they say, of the organization in southern Lebanon. The Air Force attacked and eliminated the terrorists immediately after identification. The Israeli military releases this video of its F-35 stealth fighter jet shooting down a piloted Iranian Air Force Yak-130 fighter over Tehran. The 16-second clip posted on Israeli Air Force's X account showed the jet making its first air-to-air combat kill. Iran too has intensified its missile attacks on Tel Aviv. Air raid sirens and explosions heard across the city, with the Iron Dome intercepting visible on NDTV's camera. Amid ongoing clashes between Israel and Hezbollah, footage filmed overnight shows the moment the airport road area in Beirut was struck. The video shows a blast lighting up the night sky, followed by flames breaking out between nearby buildings and thick smoke rising over the area. The IRGC Revolutionary Guards released a footage which show missiles and drones, which it says are part of the ongoing 18th wave of Operation True Promise against US-Israeli targets across the region and against US assets there. Footage purportedly shows the moment that missiles were launched by Iran. Explosions sent clouds of smoke into the night sky over Beirut. Israel announced that its forces had begun striking Hezbollah infrastructure in Beirut. As the United States Operation Epic Fury and Israel's joint Operation Roaring Lion enters the 6th day, US President Donald Trump hailed the operation for it crossing 100 hours. He called it exciting times, rating the mission 15 out of 10. Meanwhile, the White House says no boots on the ground for now as Epic Fury continues. And the White House took to X, releasing a video showcasing US combat operations in Iran, styled like the popular video game Call of Duty. This is an official video released by the White House handle. In addition to real footage from recent attacks, the video includes a kill streak animation from 2023's Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Just take a look. All right, now some breaking news is coming in from Qatar, Doha, where more explosions have been heard. This is the latest in this expanding conflict in West Asia. Massive explosions heard in Qatar's capital, about a dozen loud explosions right in the center of the capital. The Ministry of Defense of State of Qatar announced that Qatar had been subjected to a missile attack. Air defense systems are intercepting the missile attack. The ministry also urged citizens, residents and visitors to remain calm, adhere to official instructions issued by security authorities and avoid rumors as well. They said to rely solely on official statements by the authorities. Let's go across to Aditya Raj call now for more. And Aditya, any more information available on these blasts that have taken place in Doha? What was being targeted?
Well, these are Iranian, missiles that are targeting Doha now. The version of the Iranians is that they're targeting the US bases in Qatar. But just like in the last 5 days, on the 6th day also, there are several civilian areas that are coming under target. There are multiple explosions that have been heard in Doha, Qatar. We do not know if there has been an impact on ground, but one thing is clear, that the Qatar air defense mechanism is at play, and these are mostly the neutralization that is taking place of the missiles on the skyline of Qatar. What we also know right now is that Qatar Airways has stopped its operations at the Doha airport. The operations at the Doha airport have been suspended completely. So that's a huge development that's coming at this hour. Because remember, in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, as well as in Doha, these are main hubs when it comes to east-west connectivity of the air corridor between the east and west of the world. So clearly, at this moment, new developments of explosions coming all across from Doha in Qatar, even as we are bracing for impact for new strikes that Israel is doing against Tehran and several other locations across Iran. And this is certainly a troubling development on the day 6, because one would have expected that after first few days of action and a lot of dramatic developments, there would be some semblance of peace. But doesn't seem like that there is any peace or ceasefire or any scaling down of operations, either from the Israeli and American side or from the retaliation point of view from the Iranian side. There are also verbal attacks that are taking place. Yesterday, we saw statements from the U.S. Secretary of War, and today, the Iranian foreign minister hitting out at U.S. and saying that U.S. should wait for consequences, and they have attacked our interests, and we are bound to safeguard and defend ourselves. So at this moment, the lines are clearly drawn, and there are fresh attacks that are taking place. Earlier, we had also reported that Iranian aircrafts have been downed by the US F-35, and now in the international waters as well, a similar scene where Iranian vessels and frigates are being attacked continuously by the US submarine and others. So in this particular case, a fresh drone and missile attack is ongoing from the Iranian side against America and Israel. But bearing the brunt are countries like Azerbaijan, Turkey, and in this particular case, Qatar, because early morning, the airport in Azerbaijan had been attacked as well by 2 drones, in which at least 3 to 4 people were injured. And now in Doha as well, civilian areas bearing the brunt, including the airport area, where multiple explosions have been heard. Back to you, Gargi.
That's right, Aditya, and this has created so much panic in the Gulf areas. We were talking to you earlier also about how, as far as Azerbaijan as well, the airport had been struck by, 2 drones. So this just shows that, Iran continuing with its attack on various American assets, facilities, ports, airports, all coming under attack, creating a huge panic. There's also an evacuation effort by, several countries, the European Union, to evacuate its citizens who are also stuck there. You're in Tel Aviv. Give us more details about what it is like right now in terms of, evacuations as well, and this growing anxiety as more and more places come under attack.
Well, that's right, Gargi. There's a fear psychosis and a panic developing across the Middle East, because one would have expected that only Iran and Israel would be embroiled in this kind of a war, just like happened, last year in June, the 12-day war between these countries. But now it seems that many other countries, at least 8 to 10 in number, have been involved in this because of the Iranian missiles landing in civilian areas and critical infrastructure being impacted. This has also resulted in a huge economic loss and also connectivity that has been completely halted right now. As I said, Abu Dhabi, Dubai and Doha have been almost fully suspended. Temporary operations have resumed in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, but not fully. Some Emirates flights are flying, and mostly the priority of these governments is to get their own citizens home from other countries, just like it's happening in Israel. I'm reporting for NDTV from Tel Aviv for the last 10 days. It's my 10th day in Israel today. And over the last 6 days, we've only seen an escalation taking shape. Since morning, there are 5 to 6 alarms.
Right, Aditya, sorry to interrupt you there. We're also now joined by a correspondent from Doha, Amjad Vaniman, on the phone line with us. Amjad, tell us what is happening over there. What can you share with us? The blast being heard in Qatar.
Yes, there have been at least a dozen massive explosions heard in Qatar's capital around 12 noon local time. We are seeing the blast occur closer and closer to the central part of the city. People have reported seeing objects in the sky in areas near the U.S. Embassy. We know that earlier the authorities had temporarily evacuated the residents living near the U.S. Embassy in Doha. It's like as a precautionary measures, and all these people were provided with a temporary shelter. So if you know that yesterday Iran's foreign minister called the prime minister of Qatar, saying that their missile is not at all attacking the Qatar, but they were only targeting the U.S. asset, which the Qatar's prime minister rejected his claim. And another thing is, over the past 48 hours, no major explosion was not reported in Qatar, but it was then it was believed that a period of relative calm and reduced intensity may be signaled like a possible de-escalation, at least for the Gulf countries. But the most recent attacks in Qatar and similarly in Bahrain this morning have once again plunged the region into what we call is a uncertainty and heightened tension. We still have to see what kind of material damages have brought in Qatar for the latest attacks, and we are waiting for further updates from the Ministry of Civil Defense.
All right, Amjad Vaniman, do stay on with us. Amjad Vaniman, they're reporting from Doha on this series of explosions that have taken place. We'll just show to our viewers and listen to this latest footage that has come in from Doha. All right, some breaking news now coming in, and a reaction, official reaction from India. Vikram Misri has condoled Khamenei's death. Vikram Misri met with the Iran ambassador in Delhi. That's the big breaking news coming in right now. Remember, the Iran embassy had put out its book of condolences, where officials could come there and write their condolences regarding Khamenei's death. And now foreign, and it was being speculated what India would do, because India has not condoled the death of Khamenei. And now Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri has now gone to the Iranian embassy to condole the death. So there you can see Vikram Misri at the Iranian embassy, I beg your pardon, also writing in that condolence book. This condolence book, it had been announced on the official channels, on social media, that this condolence book would be put out at the Iranian embassy, and that anyone who would want to, in fact, the first person to write in this book was the Russian ambassador to India. And now you can see these visuals, Vikram Misri at the Iran embassy in Delhi writing in that condolence book. Let's go across to Ghazali for more on this. And Ghazali, this is a big development because these questions were being raised, and now Vikram Misri there representing India at the Iran embassy writing in that condolence book.
Yeah, basic etiquette of diplomacy here, Gargi, that questions are being raised on India's stand on the ongoing conflict, particularly due to the fact that this entire war erupted after Prime Minister Modi left Israel, and now for the last 5 days since the death and the killing of Ayatollah Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran, there was no official word from India, barring the fact that it kept claiming that everybody has to adopt diplomacy and dialogue to resolve this conflict. Now, the visit of Foreign Secretary to the Iranian embassy in Delhi certainly denotes the fact that India is still adopting the path of diplomacy. It's not leaving its allies in the lurch, and that is why this formal visit of Foreign Secretary there writing in the condolence book as well in the Iranian embassy today.
That's right, and this comes, Ghazali, at a time when, we've seen the Iranian warship being attacked in the Indian Ocean just after leaving from the Indian coast. And so this has also created more there's been criticism coming in from the Congress as well on India's stand and how there's been no official word on that. But for the moment, the Foreign Secretary, they're visiting the Iranian embassy and writing in the condolence book.
Yeah, certainly. Indian Ocean region certainly comes under the influence of the State of India or our country, and India cannot abandon it just for the fact that that Iranian ship was left after participating in our naval exercise, joint naval exercise. And that also underscores the fact that Vikram Misri is visiting the Iranian embassy just a day after that Iranian ship came under attack from the US submarine. So kind of shows that India is also concerned, and I'm sure that perhaps talks would have revolved around with the Iranian ambassador around the fact that how Iranian ship was attacked and how they have lost more than 80 people there. So certainly a big concern, a big diplomatic move as well from India's side, that they have not kept quiet on this ongoing development, rather trying to show that Iran still exists as our partner in the region and a very valuable one.
That's right, Ghazali. And there you have Vikram Misri, the Foreign Secretary, at the Iran embassy in Delhi and, condoling the death of Khamenei and writing also in that condolence book. So representing the Indian government there, offering condolences at the Iran embassy in Delhi. Breaking news now coming in, and Iran has requested the return of all the bodies from Iris Dena. This is the warship of Iran that was attacked by the US submarine. It was torpedoed off the coast of Sri Lanka in the Indian Ocean. So Iran has requested the return of all bodies to Iran from here. Remember, over 80 sailors were killed in this attack by the US on this Iranian warship, and Sri Lanka did manage to rescue at least 30 of those who were in the waters after this attack. Now Iran has asked Sri Lanka to send all bodies to Tehran. How this will happen in the midst of the war, of course, remains to be seen. But that is the message that Iran has sent out, requesting the return of all the bodies from Iris Dena. It's asked Sri Lanka to send all the bodies that Sri Lanka managed to recover from the waters back to Tehran. The Iran warship was sunk by the US submarine, and 87 Iran sailors are dead. Over 30 are currently being treated in Sri Lanka. Remember, this was, big news yesterday, especially raising questions about the lines that were crossed, given that this warship was in India for, naval engagements here. It was a friendly gesture. It was here in India, and it was returning after that engagement with India, and then it was targeted by the US submarine, torpedoed in the Indian Ocean, and questions have been raised as to what is India's official response on this. Remember, the Congress party has been criticizing the government for not responding, saying that the war has come right next door to us. It is in the Indian Ocean, that is, right in our backyard. Now Iran, they're asking that Sri Lanka send all the bodies that it recovered of the Iranian sailors back home. 87 Iranian sailors were killed. Now, Iran's foreign minister said the US will bitterly regret the precedent it set by sinking the Iranian warship off the coast of Sri Lanka. This took place yesterday when they torpedoed this warship. Several crew members on board were killed in this attack. At least 87, as we said, were killed in the torpedo attack. Sri Lankan authorities did manage to rescue over 30 people who have since been hospitalized. Now, US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth confirmed the strike at a press conference yesterday, calling it the first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II. Iran Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi called it an atrocity, saying an Iranian ship that was a guest of India was attacked without any warning. He warned the United States that they will bitterly regret this, setting this precedent of attacking a ship in this manner. Iris Dena was returning from India after participating in the 2026 International Fleet Review in Visakhapatnam when it was attacked and later sank off the southern coast of Sri Lanka. Now, NDTV's Chanuka Pereira filed this ground report from the hospital in Sri Lanka's Gaol, where the crew of the Iranian ship was taken. Take a look.
Right now I'm in front of the National Hospital Gaol, and this is the place where the dead bodies and the rescued people were bringing into. And government confirmed by the morning today that there are 84 dead bodies confirmed from the Iranian ship which was at Indian Oceans. And the problem right now at the Gaol Hospital is that they have not enough space to keep those dead bodies. And at the Parliament today, Minister Nalinda Jayatissa said that they are sending 2 cooling rooms from Colombo to Gaol to keep those dead bodies. And also, a while ago, by the noon, the post-mortem of the dead bodies were happened by the magistrate, and that was one of the other latest update. And at the Parliament today, the opposition leader mentioned that there is another Iranian ship is coming towards Sri Lanka, and it's in the Indian Ocean, and we are actually waiting to government to answer about what it is and what will be happening with it. And we are ready to update you about it next. Chanuka Pereira reporting from the Gaol National Hospital for NDTV.
An American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death. The first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II. Like in that war, back when we were still the War Department, we are fighting to win.
And NDTV's managing editor Shiv also spoke yesterday to Sri Lankan MP Namal Rajapaksa for more. Here's what he had to say on this.
Namal Rajapaksa, Member of Parliament of Sri Lanka, is also with us. He is son of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa as well. Namal, welcome. This happened off the coast of your country. It is obviously of enormous interest to us here in India because this has happened in the Indian Ocean, not very far from your country and our country as well, but far away from where the real conflict is happening in Iran. A warship transiting international waters and being sunk. Your country's Navy has rescued many of the people in this ship that has been sunk by a US Navy submarine. How do you see this, Namal? Welcome.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, because as we always, as you correctly stated earlier, the war is happening miles away, and we can see movements in the Indian Ocean and just 40 nautical miles from the Gulf in Sri Lanka. So, which is a serious concern for Sri Lanka and also Indian Ocean, and I'm sure for India as well, as to national security and how these movements are happening, especially that vessel being a guest of the Indian naval exercise. And at the same time, I think the government of Sri Lanka must answer to the people of Sri Lanka and to the rest of the world whether they were aware of this particular situation or this particular attack on this vessel, or they were kept on dark. If they have been kept on dark, then they have to bring this up with the relevant authorities and especially with the United States. And if not, if they were aware of this kind of movement in the Indian Ocean and also in the Sri Lankan economic zone, or the EZ, we call it, of the international waters, then the government must make sure that they inform this properly to the Sri Lankan people and also, have a proper broader dialogue with the regional partners as well.
Do you think this needs to be taken up with the United States, the fact that it's happened, just off the coast of your country? Yes, in international waters, but like you said, in the EEZ, that has many strategic and security implications, Namal.
Yes, of course. I mean, especially when it comes to the Indian Ocean, because as we all know, Indian Ocean is something that is active at the moment compared to the Gulf region and also the most of the other parts of the world, looking at what's happening in the Gulf region at the moment. So this is something that Sri Lanka has to take very seriously. If the government had a dialogue with the United States and they were aware of this particular action, then they had to make sure why they kept it as a secret from the public and the parliament, and how they got into that agreement. If not, how come such an operation take place in our waters in the Indian Ocean without our knowledge? And this is something I believe the government of India and also the the Asian region has to come together and look at and to take this particular incident very seriously.
From a larger perspective, Namal, how do you view this action in relation to the war at large? This is clearly proof that President Trump of the United States, is keeping his word in terms of destroying every element of the Iranian military, no matter where it is, whether it is in Iran, whether it is in the Persian Gulf, or whether it is off the coast of your country.
Well, see, we have seen this before from that part of the world. If you look at Libya and if you look at Iraq and even Afghanistan, the question is what is after? What's going to happen after? If his mandate from his own people in US, it's up to him to make a decision on that. But there are international laws and regulations that must be respected, and each and every country's sovereignty must be respected and protected. And this is about the national security of Indian Ocean and about Sri Lanka, India, Bangladesh, the regional part of the world, Pakistan. So this is something that region has to bring up together, I believe. And every government come up with their own policies and own statements. But the question is, what is going to happen after? What sort of repercussions that countries like us has to face. Because of certain decisions taken by decisions taken by certain superpowers, so-called superpowers in the world. So I think this is what we have been facing for a longer time, and this is what the countries like us suffer most of the time.
No, those are very important points you've raised.
All right, breaking news now coming in, and another Indian has been killed, and this has been confirmed in the strikes that have taken place off the coast of Oman in Muscat. This was a seafarer, Dikshit Solanki. He belonged to Maharashtra, and he has been killed now. It has been revealed in this attack that took place in Muscat off the coast of Oman. He was aboard an oil tanker that was struck, and in fact he belongs to Mumbai. That is the big breaking news that is coming in at this hour. And Solanki was serving on the cargo ship of Muscat when the vessel was struck amid the escalating Iran-Israel conflict. He had only recently returned to his duties at sea after spending several months in Mumbai and his home attending to family matters. So this is a third Indian now who has been killed in these strikes. Remember, after the attack in Iran, in which the Khamenei was Khamenei was killed. After that, Iran has launched these attacks on various U.S. assets as well as ships in the Gulf, in the Strait of Hormuz. It has said that it will not allow any of the ships there to leave the strait and make its way to the open ocean. And also now news coming in that a third Indian, a seafarer, Dikshit Solanki, has died in one of these attacks. Saurabh Vaktania joining us from Mumbai. Saurabh, what can you tell us? What are the details about this particular attack that killed the Mumbaiker?
Gargi, and let me tell you, this is Dikshit Soni, and he basically is from Mumbai's Kandivali area, Kandivali West. He's the resident of that particular area. He stays with his father and an elder sister. There is no one else in the house. Very tragically, let me tell you, Gargi, that just 3 months back, Solanki had lost his mother, and just after 2 months after the death of her mother, after the final rites, everything were done, he had resumed the duty as a seafarer. And let me tell you, at the Gulf of Hormuz, this particular incident which has taken place, what the sources are clearly telling us that this particular incident has happened in an oil tanker. Basically, it was carrying over 50,000 metric tons of oil when this particular missile attack happened on this oil tanker, and very tragically, entire crew members of this particular incident have died. The sources are clearly telling us that the father, who is very elderly, is at home only. The officials, Indian officials, have contacted them. The local police has also contacted them. Some of the relatives from Gujarat are coming here to Kandivali. The sister is also in touch with them. Body is yet to be recovered. Let me tell you, it is a very tragic incident, like I told you, and the body is yet to be recovered. The incident happened just few days back. The family has come to know by yesterday night about this incident. Few family
members have, Saurabh, thanks so much for joining us. And very, very tragic, a third person, Solanki there, Dikshit Solanki, killed in this attack that took place in the Strait of Hormuz. Well, let's bring you more details of 2 other Indians who died, Indian sailors, after Iran launched this missile strike at an oil tanker off the Oman port on the 1st of March and earlier reported as missing. Now we can confirm that 2 Indians died in that attack as well. This attack came after Iran stated that the Strait of Hormuz was closed and that it will fire on any ship trying to pass through. Out of the 2 deceased Indians, one was from Rajasthan, the other identified as Captain Ashish Kumar from Bihar. Captain Ashish was the eldest of 3 brothers, survived by his parents, wife and 5-year-old child. The attack burnt the bodies of the deceased, with the family stating that only the bones could be recovered post the attack. We spoke to his relative.
हाईलाइट से और एम्बेसी ऑफ ओमान से ये पता चला है कि शिप में 2 बॉडी रिकवर्ड हुए हैं, जिसमें से एक कैबिन में, कैप्टन के कैबिन से एक बॉडी रिकवर्ड हुआ है और एक अदर पार्ट से।
अच्छा, तो
और
हाँ बताइए।
यस सर। और सर, डीजी शिपिंग से भी यही कंफर्मेशन आया है कि अभी तक बॉडी, बोन्स बस मिले हैं, बॉडी नहीं मिला है। बॉडी पूरा बर्न आउट हो गया था।
अच्छा, तो आपको कुछ पता चला कि कितने इंडियंस थे स्काईलाइट में?
सर, स्काईलाइट में सर 10 इंडियन थे।
10 इंडियन थे। और कब आपको पता चला कि इस पे क्या पता चला आपको कि क्या अटैक हुआ, कैसे हुआ?
सर, एक्चुअली संडे को सुबह में, दोपहर में घर पे सब कोई सोशल मीडिया पे न्यूज देख रहा था, प्लस टीवी पे फ्लैश कर रहा था कि ओमान के खाड़ी में अटैक हुआ है, बट कोई कंफर्म नहीं था कि भैया जिस शिप पे था उसी शिप पे हुआ है अटैक।
अच्छा।
फिर लास्ट इवनिंग में कंपनी की तरफ से कॉल आया, उन्होंने कंफर्म किया कि हाँ, जिस शिप में आशीष थे उसी शिप पे अटैक हुआ था।
All right, this escalation of the conflict in West Asia has, of course, raised concerns about energy and oil. And government sources have now told NDTV Profit that India is in a comfortable position when it comes to energy security. So that is a reassurance. They're coming in from government sources that India is in a comfortable position when it comes to energy security. This is after the conflict began and the Strait of Hormuz was closed. But India is in talks with the IEA and OPEC for alternative supplies and is in talks with all suppliers and trading entities. And the current position of stock, however, is comfortable. That crude and product stock is we have for 50 days and stock is being replenished every day is what the government sources have said. Let's just listen into this report by Danish.
Well, India remains to be in a very comfortable position as far as energy security is concerned. India has 25 days of ready products. By that I mean petrol, diesel and CNG. Besides that, India also has 25 days of crude. So if we calculate both of this, it comes up to 50 days and we are good for the next 6 to 8 weeks. And another catch is that if the stock is going down on one particular day, it is also being replenished the very same day or maybe the next day. So as far as the prices are concerned, prices are not expected to go up. Top government sources have also told NDTV Profit that as far as the the importing of gas is concerned, India imports 195 MMSCMD of gas. Out of that, only 60 MMSCMD of gas comes from Qatar, and we know that how that particular Qatar refinery has been attacked. So because of that, we don't need to worry, as still we have other sources through which we can source LNG and other kinds of gas. In fact, sources have also told NDTV Profit that other countries like Australia and Canada, they also got in touch with the government recently and they also offered that they can sell gas. So similarly, if we look about the comfort that how really government wants everyone not to panic or not to get anxious, is the fact that the government is also in talks with the IEA and also with the OPEC countries, and the government is figuring out, just in case if the Strait of Hormuz is shut for a very long time.
All right, in fact, let's get you the latest on the Strait of Hormuz. That has been a major concern and has created a lot of anxiety when it comes to the supply of oil and energy. Iran's Revolutionary Guards have now said the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important shipping lanes, which has seen traffic dry up since this conflict began, that now it is only closed to ships from the US, Israel, Europe and other Western allies. So that is a change in stance. We had now what the Revolutionary Guard has said, we had previously said that based on international laws and resolutions in times of war, the Islamic Republic of Iran will have the right to control the passage through the Strait of Hormuz, is what it said according to the state broadcast. Vessels belonging to the US, Israel, Europe and their supporters are observed. They will certainly be hit, is what the IRGC has warned. The strait has been effectively closed since the US and Israel launched their joint operation against Iran, sending oil prices surging and threatening to upend the global economy. Traffic through the strait is said to have dropped by nearly 90%, with only some select Chinese-linked vessels managing a safe passage so far. Remember, ships have come under attack and in fact lives have been lost. 3 Indian lives have also been lost. Now, my colleague Gauri Dwivedi spoke to Gianni Vernetti, former Deputy Foreign Minister of Italy, on this issue. Listen in.
Where do you see Italy in this entire conflict? Do you expect Italy to take a sharp position on this as well?
I think that Italy, as a member of NATO and also with a great war in the Mediterranean area for the escalation and from the challenges and the threat posed by the Iranian regime, Italy will give a contribution. Let's say probably, I think, in form of logistic support, giving to the coalition the military bases in our peninsula.
The fact that there are now the Hormuz Strait has been very significantly impacted. It's been stopped by Iran completely. Global shipping lines have been completely disrupted. Italy sits on the hub of the entire Mediterranean linkages in a very large way. How does Europe get impacted? And specifically, if you could tell us how countries like Italy stand to get impacted with shipping lines being completely paralyzed?
Yeah, let's say the challenges and the threat in the Hormuz Strait and in the Bab el-Mandeb, in the 2 straits, is not today. It's a long issue. Remember, with the Houthi terrorist group in Yemen were challenging cargo ships crossing the Bab el-Mandeb. Of course, Iran was not let's say, a reliable actor in the region, also promoting terrorism, Hezbollah, Hamas, exporting instability. So I think, and in this case, Italy and India have a lot to do together. Italy and India are among the promoters of the IMEC, the India-Middle East Economic Corridor. That I think is a fantastic project because not only will bring together a common market of 2 billion of people, and also the free trade agreement between the European Union and India is a fantastic framework. But also we'll be able to, let's say, avoid these geopolitical choke points. But at the end of the day, Hormuz, Bab el-Mandeb, but even Suez Channel are choke points, very weak, very weak, and very easy to stop it, to block it.
Well, with that, we'll slip into a short break. Coming up on the other side, after the death of Khamenei, who's in charge in Iran? We'll get you all the way later.
All right, team, our new order show is ready. Now we need a promo. Something cool, something sharp.
Well, I'm sure we'll be having outstanding reviews, solid suggestions,
expert advice, the latest trends. It's a lot simpler. We'll help people make the right auto decisions. It's got the cool stuff, geeky stuff, serious stuff, all of it, so that you can discover, decide, and drive. I'm Siddharth Sharma, and I am your automate.
Money, fame, dirty money, fame. Spending millions every day, but I still the same. Ganti baji, jingle, 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 jingle. Bas aaj ka jingle, 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 jingle. Chal kare thode single, 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 single. Kyunki tu hai single, 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 single. Baby, I'm your Santa.
The man behind Roaring Lion.
Can you say a word?
Israel's warfighter prime minister on NDTV.
I spoke to our great friend, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Spoke to him at length yesterday. Thanked him for his standing with Israel, standing for the truth, and for the enormous friendship of the people of India. They are much admired and loved in Israel. And I won't get into the details of the conversation, but I've spoken to him and I've spoken to many other leaders in the region and beyond. Thank you.
First word since he declared war on Iran.
Just behind me, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
An NDTV world exclusive to Aditya Raj call. Benjamin Netanyahu on NDTV.
In a month that moved markets, shifted diplomacy,
affect the entire world,
and stirred political battlegrounds, India chose its news carefully. NDTV India and NDTV 24/7. #1 on YouTube. NDTV Network, streaming India's trust, leading India's conversations.
First India tour in your city. Rag on with Shankar Ehsan Loy and Siddharth Mahadevan and Shivam Mahadevan. 5 times melody, 5 times masti with NDTV Good Times. Go, grab your tickets.
The front lines of Kargil. The fury of Operation Sindhu.
So many attacks.
The chaos and cries of disaster zones. To fighter jet cockpits. And the world's most defining interviews.
It's incredible.
He has seen history break. Live, unfiltered. 20,000 hours of live broadcasting.
Welcome to Left, Right and Center.
Hard facts.
War-struck country.
Hard questions.
In the Ukraine.
30 years of trust.
In the Kargil area. North Ukraine. In France, in Italy. At Srinagar. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
Vishnu Shom. Only on NDTV.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
इनको यहाँ से जाना ही होगा।
जय मां दुर्गा!
There is no bigger battle in 2026. And nobody has reported Bengal like I have. Buckle up for an unforgettable election thriller. Will the BJP breach Mamta's fortress?
Welcome back. You're watching NDTV Newsroom, and now some breaking news coming in. Even as the conflict in West Asia has entered the 6th day, US Central Command has now released another video of its Operation Fury, and it says on social media platform X that US forces control the skies by launching from the sea and showing the jets taking off from the warships. Take a look at this video. Releasing this video as the conflict in West Asia has entered the 6th day, and the bombings are continuing in Tehran. Iran also reacting, and drones and missiles being sent into the Gulf countries as well. All right, so the US releasing that video, essentially trying to show its air domination. This comes on the 6th day of the conflict. With that, we'll slip into a short break. More on the other side.
West Asia at war. Netanyahu thanks Prime Minister on NDTV.
I spoke to our great friend, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Spoke to him at length yesterday. Thanked him for his standing with Israel, standing for the truth.
Israel opposition leader Yair Lapid speaks to NDTV.
Is there going to be an Iranian Gandhi who will free his own people from oppression? So it's up to them.
Israel Foreign Minister Gideon Saar on NDTV.
Israel and US going to leave Iran in a complete chaos? Do you think that there will be a civilian leader who could take over?
Not Israel and not the US will decide who will lead the Iranian people.
The voices that matter speak first and exclusive to NDTV.
From 1983 to now, I have seen cricket evolve, but the mindset to win never changed. I tell you that what win matches and what doesn't. This T20 World Cup, let's talk cricket, controversies and more on NDTV.
Straight from the heart of the newsroom to the core of the stories shaping your world. Join me, Gargi Raut, as I track all the developments as they break. Live from the NDTV Newsroom, weekdays at 4 p.m.
Stage that brings together India's most compelling creative voices.
NDTV का क्रिएटर मंच है
where stories are shared, ideas are exchanged, and culture takes center stage.
जब देश पे हमला होगा तो सभी
आजकल चल क्या रहा है सिचुएशनशिप, आपको पता क्या होता है?
कभी मैं कह नहीं पाया।
It's okay, yeah.
NDTV Creators Munch, where creative India comes together.
हो सकता है ये कहानी बन जाए और क्रिएटर्स मंच के नाम से किसी दिन मैं रिलीज कर दूं।
2 powerful days, 14th-15th March, Sundar Nursery, New Delhi. After the roaring success in Delhi, Hyderabad and Mumbai, the NDTV DP World PGTI Golf Pro-Am now travels to Ahmedabad. India's finest professionals, the city's most accomplished business leaders. Great golf, great company. NDTV DP World PGTI Golf Pro-Am. The course of champions, the conversation of leaders. 8th March, Kalhar Blues and Greens, Ahmedabad.
Across the country,
He has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's leading AI smartphone brand. Motorola Signature, India's #1 camera phone. Grab Motorola Signature today.
Welcome back. You're watching TV Newsroom. Now the suspense continues over who will be the next supreme leader of Iran after the killing of Ali Khamenei. Now there was some reports that suggested it would be his son Mujtaba. However, this has been officially denied by Tehran, and that is the reason the funeral hasn't even taken place till now. Take a look at this report.
Iran remains on edge. Days after the killing of Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, the key question is, who will succeed him? Unconfirmed reports suggest his son, Mujtaba Khamenei, has been chosen as the next Supreme Leader by the Assembly of Experts. However, Iran has denied these claims. The Assembly of Experts, the constitutional body responsible for appointing the Supreme Leader, has not issued any formal confirmation. In the immediate aftermath of Khamenei's death, a 3-member interim leadership council assumed responsibility. It includes Ayatollah Ali Reza Arafi, President Masoud Pezeshkian, Chief Justice Ghulam Hussain Mohseni Ejei. Meanwhile, a major commemoration ceremony for Khamenei in Tehran has been postponed. Iran's Tasnim news agency cited logistical reasons, including requests from people across provinces to attend. The ceremony was initially scheduled at the Imam Khomeini Prayer Hall and was expected to continue for 3 days. Khamenei is expected to be buried in Mashhad, but the official date has not yet been announced. Security concerns remain high, given the risk of further escalation during large public gatherings. For perspective, nearly 10 million people attended the funeral of Ruhollah Khomeini in 1989. Khamenei, who ruled Iran for 36 years, was killed in the strikes on his compound. 2 questions now dominate Iran's political future. Who will be the next supreme leader? And when will the country hold the final farewell for the man who led it for more than 3 decades? For now, the answers remain uncertain as decisions are shaped behind closed doors in Tehran. NDTV Bureau Report.
All right, team, our new order show is ready. Now we need a promo. Something cool, something sharp.
Well, I'm sure we'll be having outstanding reviews, solid suggestions,
Expert advice, the latest trends. It's a lot simpler. We'll help people make the right auto decision. It's got the cool stuff, geeky stuff, serious stuff, all of it, so that you can discover, decide, and drive. I'm Siddharth Sharma, and I am your automate.
Money, fame, dirty money, fame. Spending millions every day, but I still the same. Ganti baji, jingle, 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 jingle. Bas aaj ka jingle, 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 jingle. Chal kare thode single, 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 single. Kyunki tu hai single, 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 single. Baby, I'm your Santa.
The man behind Roaring Lion.
Can you say a word?
Israel's warfighter prime minister on NDTV.
I spoke to our great friend, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Spoke to him at length yesterday. Thanked him for his standing with Israel, standing for the truth, and for the enormous friendship of the people of India. They are much admired and loved in Israel. And I won't get into the details of the conversation, but I've spoken to him and I've spoken to many other leaders in the region and beyond. Thank you.
First word since he declared war on Iran.
Just behind me, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
An NDTV world exclusive to Aditya Raj call. Benjamin Netanyahu on NDTV.
In a month that moved markets, shifted diplomacy,
Affect the entire world.
and stirred political battlegrounds, India chose its news carefully. NDTV India and NDTV 24/7. #1 on YouTube. NDTV Network. Streaming India's trust. Leading India's conversations.
First India tour in your city. Rag on with Shankar Ehsan Loy and Siddharth Mahadevan and Shivam Mahadevan. 5 times melody, 5 times masti with NDTV Good Times. Go, grab your tickets.
The front lines of Kargil. The fury of Operation Sindhu.
So many attacks.
The chaos and
Hello and welcome. You're watching Prime 5 with me, Raisha Sehgal, and this is our continuous coverage of the war in Iran. It has been 100 hours of war. A US submarine sank an Iranian warship off the southern coast of Sri Lanka, killing dozens of sailors. With Iran now issuing a stark warning, saying that the US would regret the move. With the region ablaze, ships sunk and strait strangled, where does this war end? We'll be getting you all the latest, but first, a look at the headlines. Iran condemns US attack on Iranian warship in Indian oceans, warns Trump, says US will regret this move. Calls warship guest of India. No comment from Indian government and Navy so far. Two Indian captains killed in Iranian strike at Oman port. Iran struck oil tanker in Gulf. Family inconsolable. No body recovered so far. Israel's offensive on Hezbollah, fires missiles on Beirut, says will wipe off Hezbollah from Lebanon. Azerbaijan says drone from Iran crashed at one of its airports, injuring 2 civilians. Summons Iranian envoy to lodge strong protest. India calls for rule of law, dialogue and diplomacy. Prime Minister Modi bats for peace, says military conflicts cannot resolve issues. India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri condoles Khamenei's death, meets Iran ambassador in Delhi and signs condolence book at the Embassy of Iran. Nitish Kumar set to enter Rajya Sabha to step down as Bihar Chief Minister after record 10 terms. Buzz grows over son's political debut. Son Nishant to be the Bihar Deputy Chief Minister. Well, it's day 6 of the ongoing Israel-Iran war, with Israel striking Tehran and also the Strait of Hormuz strangled. Up next, we'll take you through the top defining images as the war continues. First up, Israel and Iran, they have launched new strikes as the war in the Middle East enters a 6th day. Israel carries out attacks in Lebanon and Iran, with explosions seen across Tehran. Iranian attacks were reported in Israel, with air raid sirens in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, and explosions seen in the sky as strikes were intercepted. The situation is escalating inside Iran, while regional tensions are intensifying across the Gulf, Lebanon and even Iraq. Iran has threatened global shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, and fighting is spreading across multiple fronts in the Middle East. Further afield, a US submarine has sunk an Iranian warship off the coast of Sri Lanka. US and Israeli strikes level Tehran municipality. Meanwhile, bombardment of Tehran continues. New visual shows the ground situation after US and Israeli strikes completely destroyed the municipality building in the 18th district of Tehran. Only cement debris and empty carcasses of destroyed buildings can be seen in the aftermath. More missiles intercepted in Doha, despite the call of Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Arakchi yesterday with the Prime Minister of Qatar. Iranian projectiles continue to target the country. Fresh visuals show more missile interceptions in Doha, Qatar's capital city, despite the high-profile phone call last evening. IDF released a new video claiming it eliminated a terrorist cell operating from a headquarters in southern Lebanon. IDF said Division 91 forces identified a number of terrorists from the Hezbollah terror organization entering a building that served as the organization's headquarters in the area of operation of our forces in southern Lebanon. The Air Force attacked and eliminated the terrorist immediately after identification. On the 6th day of US-Israeli attacks in Iran, the conflict is escalating as regional tensions rise in Tehran. Israel has now launched fresh attack on Iranian capital, Tehran. Homes are under fire, panic on streets as strike hits a residential complex in Tehran. Israel continues to pound Iran. Iran's intelligence ministry was hit in a strike near Shahid Himmat Highway in Tehran. And that's the visual of that target. Israeli Defense Forces have released another video of strike in which what they claim that they have destroyed a building in which Hezbollah terrorists were seen entering the apartment, which is the headquarters of the organization in southern Lebanon. The Air Force attacked and eliminated the terrorist immediately after identification.
United States and its partners.
As the United States Operation Epic Fury and Israel's joint operation Roaring Lion enters its 6th day on Thursday, US President Donald Trump has hailed the Israel-US joint operation Epic Fury crossing 100 hours. Trump calls it exciting times, rating the mission 15 out of 10. Meanwhile, White House says no boots on the ground for now as Epic Fury continues.
We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it.
White House took to X, releasing a video showcasing US combat operations in Iran, styled like the popular video game Call of Duty. In addition to real footage from recent attacks, the video includes a kill streak animation from 2023's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
We're winning this fight.
Iran's foreign minister said that the US will bitterly regret the precedent it has set by sinking Iranian warship off the coast of Sri Lanka on Wednesday. Well, several crew members aboard an Iranian ship were killed after an attack by US submarine on the Indian Ocean. Sri Lankan government has now confirmed that 84 dead bodies have been recovered so far. Over 30 people on board the warship have been rescued and even hospitalized. Iran has now requested for return of all bodies from IRIS Dena to Tehran. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth confirmed the strike at a press conference in Washington, D.C. yesterday. Meanwhile, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi called it an atrocity, saying an Iranian ship that was guest of India and was attacked without any warning. He has now warned the United States of America that they will bitterly regret this. IRIS Dena was returning from India after participating in the 2026 International Fleet Review in Visakhapatnam when it was reportedly attacked and later sank off the southern coast of Sri Lanka. Take a look at all the reactions that have been coming in on this.
An American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death. The first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II. Like in that war, back when we were still the War Department, we are fighting to win. An American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death. The first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II. Like in that war, back when we were still the War Department, we are fighting to win. An American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet.
While doing search operation, we found people floating on the floating in the water and rescued them. And later on, subsequently, when we inquired them, we found that those people are belonging to the Iranian ship, and we understood that they need prompt medical attention, and we swiftly transferred them to the Qatar Teaching Hospital, and right now they are undergoing medical treatment. We found